StarCraft 2? Let me ask you a question. If you want to play cooperative in StarCraft 2, how many friends can you play with at one time? 2 is the right answer. I need a t-shirt for this man right here. StarCraft 2 allows for a maximum of 2-player cooperative play. End of Nations, we've already gone over 50. We have a video that we show you in this booth of 51 players playing cooperatively together against the enemy. Now, StarCraft 2, how many people can you play player versus player? A little higher. Close. 8 is close. 10 is the answer, this young man right here. 5 on 5, player versus player is the most StarCraft 2 can do. Right here in this booth right now, End of Nations is 10 on 10, player versus player. We've got a video showing 15 on 15, player versus player, and we are nowhere near the limits of this yet. So if you're looking for massive real-time strategy, End of Nations is your answer. Now, End of Nations is a game that is set some 50 years in the future. All the governments in the world have collapsed. There's chaos and disorder everywhere. And then a shadow government emerges, the Order of Nations. And at first, the Order of Nations is peaceful and brings food and medicine to the people. But ultimately, they expose themselves for the totalitarian regime that they are. And it's your job as a gamer at End of Nations to rise up as a revolutionary, mount your army up and take the fight back to the Order of Nations and bring freedom back to the world. When you take a look here at End of Nations, you get a good look here at the world map. This is a map of territory control. Everything that's not red or blue is something that the Order of Nations is controlling. But things that are red and blue are things that are being controlled by your factions. Now the factions together, they all hate the Order of Nations, but they don't get along with each other either. And this is where player versus player combat comes in. Each faction has a very different philosophy of how the world should be run, and they're willing to fight to get there. For the most part, though, the big thing of End of Nations is cooperative play, and the massive cooperative play that you've never had before in a strategy game. This is the war room. When you come into End of Nations, you get a good look at the war room. You can see the battles that are going on in progress right now. You can see what all of your friends are doing and other people. The ticker symbol at the bottom keeps the news coming to you. It'll be news about what's going on in the world of End of Nations. It'll also be news about what your friends and your factions are up to. The next thing you'll do is you'll go into your headquarters. So your headquarters is a persistent base, much like you have in another strategy game, except for this base is not on the field of battle. You're not going to go to bed and find that somebody has taken over your base overnight. Instead, what happens is your base is more like a secret headquarters, where you get to move your equipment together, mount up your units, and roll into battle from there. This is a place where you'll deploy your super weapons and units to make sure you know what it is you want to bring into battle. Then we'll go into the armory, and here's where you'll actually see all the units that you've brought together and collected. A couple things you notice here right away. Not only do you see the units you have, you see the units you don't have. This is a constant reminder that as you go through the game, you want to collect all the units in the game, because complete sets give you huge bonuses in combat and make you stronger against your enemies. You also get a look at the fact that you can customize your units and come with a unique identity for yourself only, so you can stand out in the field of play. Now, the last thing you notice here in the war room in the armory is a loadout system. These 507 points down here. One of the biggest problems with strategy games is new players and veterans can't play together. It's just not fun. But with a loadout system, we've solved that problem. A beginner will go into a 500-point battle with maybe 20 different units that are very small. A veteran may go into a 500-point battle with one big badass unit, and everyone will know that that is a veteran player, but they can still have fun together in a 500-point battle. Once you decide what your units are going to be, you mount them and you head into combat. You put your units on an airstrike and you fly in. So Mike is going to drive us into the world map here, and you can see 24/7 all the hot spots around the world. No more waiting for a battle, no more looking for people to play with. You just simply dive into a conflict that's happening right now as he's doing. Now, one of the things that happens in End of Nations is, unlike other strategy games, you're going to have a commander clash. You can be a tank commander, a strike commander, or an artillery commander. And no matter what commander you choose, you can always use all the units in the game. But as a tank commander, you're always going to be better with tanks. You'll always be better with the units that you specialize with. And that'll make sure that when you and your friends play together, you're looking good. The red team is way ahead already. You can see in the map here how the Reds, the enemy of this team, because we're on the blue team, have taken over a number of control points. Player versus player is a battle for control points. Each control point you take gives you victory points towards your ultimate metagame. And every battle contributes to the state of the world map. You're going to want your faction to win these points so that you can take over territory of the world map and bring more benefits to yourself and to your team. You can see Mike's units in the blue ones here. The ones that are etched around in yellow are allies. The ones in red are enemies. And also down here at the bottom, you notice a couple of things. You see a lot of power-ups as you would have in a standard MMORPG, but you also see a lot of the commands that you can see in a real-time strategy game. Only Innovation is bringing you these two genres together.